Hi everybody. So we're gonna start our day 4 today, and let's get this part of her face. As I said last class, that is the most obvious thing that is wrong in here, and let's see what else we can get done today. Alright, so let's start. I can see here in her forehead, look how it is. Let me get this out of here. See how it is very flat with an oval right here. There's a big huge oval that I put because I wanted to reach her profile, and it's not symmetric. This side is way higher in here than in here. Look, there's like a hole in here. It's like coming way down, and I also think it's quite deep, her eyes, because there's nothing in here. So let's remember how is the forehead shape, and then we're gonna search for her forehead shape. So remember, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, and this is the right shape, right? Following the skull. So you go like larger in the back and rounded. Once you reach the larger area that is here, right over the ears, when you reach the largest area, it starts coming in, and once you reach the temporal line that is about the arch of the eyebrow, so this edge here, then it starts getting flatter. Flatter, I don't know if that word exists. I think so. Flat. More flat. So now we're gonna look at her forehead, and the best image to find that is this angle, you see here, and I don't know if I have the right angle here. I think that's the best one. I got it. And this one. So it's always top and bottom. And as much more, like, it would be perfect if it was like this. So, or like this, and then you can see. So always, if you're making a client, ask them for this kind of picture and this one. So it really helps. But you can see that she doesn't have a rounded forehead. You can see here too. It's pretty flat in here. You can see here there's not an oval like I did. It's a pretty flat forehead. And also you see that the depth of her eyes comparing to here, it's not that deep. It's deep, but not that much. Right? So I'm going to kind of shape it better and also give the symmetry. So which one, when I'm gonna work with symmetry, and I already have a lot of the face done, which one is better? That's always what I do. So I turn like this, and then I see, is this one better than this one, or this one is better than this one? So I'm gonna look here and see how tall she has in here, and see the two of them. So this one is worse. She doesn't have this coming down so much like that. She doesn't have that huge big hole in here. But this one is kind of too tall, so I have to kind of take this one a little bit down and bring this one a little bit up. Other thing that you can do, other angle that is good, is this one. But she has a bangs on, falling on her forehead. But if you have some another pictures of her or somebody that you're sculpting, always look here, because it shows you the semi-profile, and it shows you kind of the shape of the forehead. But we don't have it, so we're gonna have to guess. You guys can still search for her pictures on the internet. I got the ones that I thought it would work better, but it's not always the same for me and for other people. Okay, okay, so let's do that. So don't forget that the forehead is flatter than the rest of the shape of the face, but it still is archy, okay? You cannot do an absolutely flat forehead. You have to make an arch. You have to look for her arch. So that means that these two edges, this here is lower than the center, okay? Always, it's just you know that the forehead is a little bit more flat than this. It's not like that, all rounded. It's more flat, but it's still archy. You can't just come and make it all flat. It's gonna be a square forehead, and that's wrong. Let's add some here and still oh my gosh, look what happened when you touch the printing. If you see something like that so dirty, just remove the layer. Make sure to keep as more clean as you can. So be careful to don't change the center of it, because this is going to change the profile that you already found. You can change it. One thing that you can change it, I put this oval here. I already kind of got here the same, fixed the same here. So let's talk about that. So this oval that I placed in here, it made me reach the profile, but it's wrong. Why? Because when we look to this profile that I used, which one was it? This one. So let's compare these two profiles here, and I'm going to explain that, and then you guys will understand. Okay, so I could have worked with this profile. I just didn't, because this picture was a very low quality picture. I didn't find any bigger resolution, and it would be hard for me to make the transparency with it. I need better resolution, so I use this one. But this one is a better profile. So as you can see here, it doesn't have this huge big oval like she has here, and here doesn't have. Why is that? Because this profile is not absolutely in profile. So what is going on here? Look. Let me get a white paper in the back. Well, I don't know if it's going to happen in mine, but let's try, because I put the oval right in the center. So one profile, the profile that is not showing the oval right in the center, it's the right one, because it's a perfect profile. The one that is showing is because she's a little bit like this. So what you are seeing, so the angle is a little bit twisted, and what you are seeing is the oval that is actually on right over the beginning of her eyebrow. So that would be, where is that picture? That would be here. And here you can actually see pretty good because of the shades. So see here, this is what you can see. Because these two parts right here are the highest ones on the face. And there's a little bit of depth here. It's more deep than this. So when you look to this profile, this one, you are actually seeing this side of the eyebrow, because the profile is a little bit twisted, right? So it's not a perfect profile. In this one, it is perfect. It's right in there. So you can't see that part of the eyebrow because it's really facing the other side. So this is the difference between those profiles. It took me a while to figure that out. I had no idea. And I kept on putting an oval in everybody that I got the wrong profile until I realized that. So how do we fix that? So I made an oval. I didn't care for making an oval here. I am going to bring this oval to the right place, which is over her forehead. So it will be around here and here. And here my oval is already lower, right? So I'm going to bring that tall that is matching my profile. I'm going to bring that same amount of tall to here. And then after I have it measured, I can dig it a little bit here to lose this oval shape. So I'm going to bring this here to the sides. Careful to don't change what we already did here. And just so it's not so odd, make sure to bring it, that part here, once you bring it higher here and make this curve slowly, not just go deep and go all the way around her eyes, because that's not what happens. So keep the pictures close to you once you're doing all the pictures. I can't put them all in camera, but I have them all spread on my table right here. So let me just make sure that I have this one too, this one. And I'm keeping this one here. Actually, I should be keeping this one, not this, because this is the one I drew on it. Okay. Because also what she has is, I said that this is the highest part, right? Here and here. And the oval doesn't happen in here. But she also have a very, all this area is higher. All this area here is a little bit higher than the rest, especially on a man. This is a very big characteristic of a man, that is having this part, like this and this, higher. And she kind of have higher than most women, this area. She has a pretty high, like you can see here how it's go up right there. So keep all the pictures once you were doing, so don't forget to look at the curves and everything else. Don't worry, I know it looks even more deep on the eyes than it was before, but I'm doing that intentionally right now. I'm gonna change it. So I'm just going to do this to bring all the oval right here. And then see that I try to keep the same here, but I will have to do it again. It's always doing and searching all over again. Okay, oh look, now she has a square forehead. That's not what we're looking for, but for right now is just to put the oval in the right position. Okay, all right. So now I'm going to remeasure this profile. Let me get my transparencies, and I'm going to remeasure this oval. Remember that this oval is on the side, but right now you have it everywhere, so it doesn't matter. You can just match it up with the profile. Right here you can see that the forehead is like, look, this is my finger touching it, and it's not in the right position. You have to, I have to take a little bit off the forehead here. You can see that it's not matching this line with my line here, so I have to remove some of that. All right, so the oval is right, and we need to remove that. So how are we gonna do here? Just to match it up, I'm going to remove a little bit. Going back here, trying to match that line, working with my memory now. I'm calling the oval because I don't know another way to call that part here. So let's put names and stuff, and then it makes it easier for you guys to know what I'm talking about. Nicknames for everything. Okay, so I didn't touch the oval, so don't change the profile, but I did work on the line in the back. So you can just work with your knife or with an arch tool that is also used. A lot of other sculptors use that way more than I do. I love my knife, but it's just not average. A lot of sculptors would rather come with this. I just rather go in with my knife, I don't know why. And remove a bit. I'm going to remeasure that after, but for now it's good. It's just because it was way bigger than hers, and that's going to make it harder for me to find the forehead shape, right? Okay, so I did that, and the oval is in the right position. What am I gonna do now? I'm gonna make a mark on her face. You guys don't need to do that when you're doing yours. It's just for better explanation. So I'm going to, let me get this picture here that shows better. I'm going to dig a little bit this part, not a lot in here because she does have this higher, and I'm going to dig a little bit so you see, over the eyebrow. I can actually even measure her eyebrow distance to make that in the right position. So you can measure here and here, the end of her the beginning of her eyebrow. And then you know what you're doing. So it's pretty close. It's not very straight. Hold on. There. It's better. And once you measure it, then you know where you have to work on it. So from here, that is the beginning of her eyebrow, kind of going out like this. Don't make that mark. I'm just making for teaching here. And from here to here is like this. Like here. And all this area here can be higher. The distance that is higher, it depends on the person. So you have to really look and see hers. We still don't have where the eyebrow goes here, the distance from the whole eyebrow. We kind of measure already, but we really need to have that perfect. So for now, I'm not going to worry about that distance. I'm just going to go and do it all the way up. So I'm going to bring all of that a little bit down. It's not going to change that oval in the profile that is not full profile. And if I look in the full profile, I'm going to get now that one. So it's going to be matching this one now if I look in the perfect profile, if I'm not seeing that oval. Once I do that, I will show you guys on her face how it's going to be different, the profile, so it makes it easier for you to understand. So I'm going to dig this a little bit, not much, because as I said, she does have hers quite high. There is some bubble here. Get rid of it. See, we take such good care for not making bubbles, but all the time it does. Especially because I'm not touching on my clay during the whole week, and it's not getting kneaded enough. Because once we stop touching, you have to knead it all again. So, see, I dig a little bit here, and I left that part matching the profile with an oval. So, right now what we have here is, if you look in this profile, you're not going to see that oval right there. You're going to see without the oval. And that's what's happening. That's why we have a difference in her profile. Right? So that's it. I think I actually dig it too much. Because if you look in this profile, it's not that much without a no. Oh, there you go. If we do too much, you're going to see this side. If you face that position, if you turn, you're going to see that oval. And if you turn here, you're going to see this one. So you still see the profile of the nose, but with the eyebrow, if you turn a little bit, without, and with this one, if you turn a little bit there. So I was in doubt when I actually was making this material. I was in doubt if I should use this profile or not, because it might confuse you, make you guys confused. And then I decided that I should, because also explaining that to you make it easier in case of you get a profile that is not fully right and that this oval, and you're not going to know what to do to get this oval right. So for that not to happen, it's better just work with that. And now you guys know if your client sends you a profile that is a little bit wrong, so you already know how to do it. Usually ask for more than one picture, so it's never going to be in the same angle and then you can see the whole thing. Okay, now that I did that, I'm just making the forehead a little bit rounded, and then we're going to work on her temporal line. So see, now it's a total square, but this is arched enough. It's just very large, so we have to find her temporal line again, because once I rounded, I messed it up. I think I already had measured that before, but I'll do it again. Because once you work on it, you are a lot of times lose parts that you already measure, and you have to remeasure, and that's just normal. That's just what happens. Right? It's alright. It's part of the process. You can't fight against it. So I'm bringing this also a little bit lower. I think that her eyebrow is too high, and we can just bring it lower. And this part can just come down, and then it's gonna match this part of the cheeks. You can just bring it all together here. But let's work now with her temporal line. So temporal line, remember what it is this line here over the arch of the eyebrow that shapes your forehead. Alright, so we have the eyes, and this would be the temporal line here and here. That is not the best picture for me to work. But what happened here is, around the eyebrow here, it's usually higher, like this, and then it comes inside, and it can go straight up. Some people go straight up like this. So this distance is the same as this on the top of the forehead. Some people go like this and inside. So it has the forehead a little bit smaller in here. And some people go from here to outside and has the forehead larger in this area. So that's the only three things that can happen with the line. So you really have to look to the person. Hers goes, if you look, you have to work with shades, really. Let me just get now the one without drawing so you guys can see it. So hers, you can see, she doesn't have around her eyebrow very high. She does have here high, in this area here, around. But when it goes like around the arch on the sides, it's not very high. There's not a little bump in here. It's pretty straight. And so her line of her temporal line kind of almost touches her forehead, her eyebrow. And it looks like it's going inside. See? Looking with the shade, it's not a lot inside, but it looks like it's inside. So let me draw now again here. So what it happens is, you have the eyes. I'm not gonna make a perfect drawing, okay? Just so you guys can pick it up. You have the eyebrow. I made very arches so you guys know what I'm talking about, right? So here you have usually a little bump that goes around here, and then the temporal can do like this, or sometimes it goes and it opens and make a bigger forehead on the top, and sometimes it goes here and it makes it smaller forehead in here. So this is the three ways that the temporal line goes on. Obviously it's not a square, it's soft, gentle, and you can barely see it. Like, oh, you can't see it, but you can't see there's not like a I don't know how a square angle when it happens. It's really soft, okay? And I think hers is between this going inside and this. So it goes inside, but not much. So it's kind of like here. Okay, so we can always measure that too. And work with the perfect measurements, not just with our eyes, because sometimes our eyes trick us, the measurement won't. So let's see where it starts. It always starts in the arch of the eyebrow, so we can put it in there. We already measured that, but once I smooth out the forehead, I lost it. So there you go. Measure here. Find the center, put the nose right in the center. Squeeze it in. Then you have the beginning of it here, right? And measure what you can see that is her forehead here. It's a little bit, you see, a little bit smaller. I'll make a little bit bigger here. Kind of matches this part of the hair here. You can see it changes the direction. And then you go the top. You can always to find the center right, you just kind of put in there and then in here, and then you have where you're gonna change the shape of it. Once you do that, let's measure also the distance of the eyebrow to the eye so you don't mess it up. Alright, so I'm gonna put the end of her eye with the top of her eyebrow right here. To see if it's in the right position, which it's kind of there. This one is probably a little bit different, but I'm gonna use the same measurement to work on my symmetries. And now I want this distance here between her eyebrow and the center of her eye, the corner with her eyebrow right there. I'm not doing this, I'm not finding that, I'm kind of going in a straight line here and here. So get that distance in there. It looks like it's a little bit, that's right. It's kind of right. I thought it was way off, but it doesn't look like it is. Sometimes our eyes trick us, I told you. And let's see now again. Distance of her eyebrow. Put in here. So you kind of get the right shape. So once you do that, you have a lot of marks here. So that's, what is this? That's the distance. So it would be here. So cover that up, because that's the distance between the edge of her eyebrow with the eye. So this is too far apart, so it's here. Cover that up because it was not in the right spot. And that's the beginning of her eyebrow right here, and that's the distance. So let's kind of make a little draw here of her eyebrow. You don't need really to do it to get it right, but it's gonna help you to see her face. So kind of goes like this. So you can just sketch it, and then you can get your transparency and you will see that better. Like this. I already can see her here. Way better than I could before. So same thing here. So this is here, that height. Cover that up. It was too far apart. It's here. And her eyebrow is about here. And it goes there. And here. Right? Alright, that helped. Okay, once you have that, you will shape the temporal line. So you have it here. As I said, she doesn't have around here very tall, so you can kind of bring it down a bit. And here, you're just gonna go and let it go and meet the top in there. We forgot to measure the distance of the forehead, so let's measure that. From here to here is that. So it has to meet that distance right here, not so far. Okay. So you can kind of shape a line right now just to guide you. So you get guide with this line, and from the line to there you're gonna get that shape that I said about the head. So you're gonna bring that all in. Don't feel sorry, bring it in. And here, bring it in. So remember, there's not a big arch around the eyebrow in here, so you can bring it in all the way to the eyebrow. Like this. And now that you have it shaped, and you have like a square that I said here, you're going to smooth that out. And you obviously will need to march her eyebrow again. You don't need to do that right now because we're still going to shape all this area. Let's smooth that out. And here, as I said, she doesn't have a big arch around the eyebrow, but the temporal line always is deeper here. So go ahead and shape it. Shape the tempora, not just the temporal line, but that little hole that we have in here. And that's gonna look a lot more like a human, like a person. Okay, that is better already. Alright, so once you have that shaped, obviously you have to give the right symmetry and look for the semblance with her, look in all the angles you can. I'm not gonna do that in class. I should be doing in the afternoon, but I haven't been touching my sculpture in the afternoons, just in here. So make sure to go ahead and look in all the angles and compare and compare and compare and compare and compare. Never stop comparing and finding her features to copy. Okay, but I think you got the average of the temporal line, and that's what matters. So let's keep on moving forward. Okay, so this part is, it looks easy when I explain, but it's quite hard to put it on practice for a lot of the students. This picture, in my opinion, saves our lives to understand, and this is again the same book for Anatomy for Sculptures that you guys all should get it. They have a PDF version that is way cheaper. This is mine is a PDF version. So there you go. So what we did here, we already built that eyelid and that eyelid. That eyelid have all this part done already, and this is already the, not really the cheek meeting here, but it's the face meeting here. This is the deeper part that we have. It gets deeper once you get older, this part. But we're not worried about the bottom part. What we're going to learn right now is what happens between the eyebrow and the eyelid, because it's not the same. The inside corner to the inside corner of the eyebrow, like this shape is absolutely the opposite of the outside corners. So if you split the eye kind of in the center, it's not exactly in the center. It will depend on the person you're sculpting. Some people have it more here, some people have it more here, so you have to really observe. So if you split, let's say in the center to make it average, if you split in the center of the eye, from the center to the outside corner, you have that part convex. So what is convex? It's like a little ball. It's from the outside, rounded here. I have that really big on my face. I have this huge. This is something important for you to look in the person you're sculpting. It can be a very big characteristic. And from the center to the inside, it's concave. So it's the opposite. So one go like this and the other one like this. And that's what makes it hard. All right, it's twisted even. It's not really like this what I'm doing. It's kind of like twisted like this, like a chain. So in this image you can see very well what happens, and also in this one. So I love those images. This one also helps a lot because it's, you can see, because it split all the areas in different colors. So it made the top eyelid in pink, and then the convex in kind of a reddish. My printing is not perfectly red. And the concave right here. So the convex, like I said, I split in the center of the eye, but it doesn't stop in the center. It keeps on coming in here. Sometimes it comes even bigger in here. Okay, and the concave comes in this area here. And then if you look in this angle, this is what happens. You see there's different directions here, and here is absolutely dip. Here is also a very good image for us to understand. So this is what we're going to work on her face. We're going to do her concave and her convex. Okay, so now we're going to observe hers. So I was looking to her pictures here, and I saw this one. It looks like she has a huge big convex right here. And then I looked at this one, and it doesn't look like, it looks like her. So if you see in this picture, it looks like her convex, it's coming past the half of her eye, right here. See? All this light here. And then you look in this one, and you can obviously see that is not. Her convex finishes right here, and all this part here is deeper. So why? How come that is happening? This is makeup. This is what makeup can do with our face. If you put a light, it brings it out. So this is just a makeup here. This one is way more fair to her shapes. And when we are putting makeup, adding makeup to her, if that's the makeup she uses, we can always light that part to pretend it looks bigger, to look more like she wears her makeup. But in the sculpture, what I do is I try to find the right shape. And here you can see too, it's like on the half of her eye, and it's just here it's higher, and here is already start getting deeper. But that's the best picture for us to follow for sure. So you can make a circle and then make a little point. So it's actually exactly like a little drop. Let's see if I can, like this. And I'm gonna get this little drop. I'm gonna put where I can see that her convex is going right there. Be careful, don't place it all the way down here, because it's not, you still have to leave space for the eyelid, right? And in this picture we can't really see the eyelid because she's looking down, so you have to use the frontal picture to do that and get the one without drawing. So keep these two pictures close by. Well, she wears a lot of makeup, so it makes it hard for us to see, but you see there is quite a bit of space. Some people have, let's think about Richard Gere, for example, especially men. Men has this difference smaller than women, and a lot of men have the convex following over the eyelid and covering. It's like that's what happened with Richard Gere. But she doesn't, so be sure that you will let enough of her forehead showing in there. Forehead, what am I even saying? Eyelid. And you're gonna meet the drawing that you made for the eyebrow here. You're gonna meet up right there. And slowly getting rid of the convex and make it rounded. And then once you reach the center, you start bring it all in. to make the concave. Alright, now we're going to work on the shape of hers because she doesn't have that much. So I'm going to look in here and copy what I can see there. So this is too big here to remove. Okay, so it's kind of like that. And now obviously you have to work on details here. And if you want, you can even mark again the eyebrow, but not very hard, just where you know a little bit where it goes. Because this is not a line, this is a volume, right? So, there you go. And then you can see, I think here, her eyelid here shows more. I'm going to bring it higher. And be careful to don't make it a square, it needs to be really rounded. Sometimes, what I can see here, if you look to the eye on the profile, it actually, let me explain this here. Let me go back. If you look to the eye on the profile, so let's make an eye here. The right way to do the eye is like this. So this part here is more outside than this one. There's a inclination right here. Okay? And what I can see in mine is that they're lined. They're like this. So what I'm going to do here, I will bring the eyelid a little bit, the top eyelid a little bit out. Look. So I'm going to bring the top eyelid out, and that's going to help me with also this, the convex and her deep eyes to look better. So a lot of little details of anatomy that you need to know, that makes it easier for you to realize what's wrong, what can be better. I'm gonna have to work on this shape again, I know that, but it was way too much inside, and that gives depth to her look. That makes it better. I'm gonna try to match the shape that I had before there, and don't let a line here. There was like a little line when I put the two clay together, so I'm just removing that and smoothing. And then I'm gonna have to match her shape of the eyes. I will have to take a look at this shape again with the transparency and find it all over again. But that's okay. I won't do that in class though. One thing that is important to know is that for white people, this line between the eyelid and the convex is deeper. Some people have it more shallow than the other one. Some people have it very deep. So we really have to look to the person. But there is a division here. And Asian people that has this tiny eyes, they usually it's not the size of the eye that makes the difference. It's because they don't have this line. It goes kind of like straight there. That's what makes it the biggest difference between the kind of eyes. So be careful to don't absolutely cover this line, because it's gonna look like you're making an Asian person, and unless you are making an Asian person. But if you're making Amy Winehouse, you definitely need to make a line to happen in there. Okay? So, I think we got it pretty good here. Look at the difference of the eye that we already put the concave and the convex for the eye that we didn't. How it looks different. Okay, so I am going to do the other side, and I'm going to fast forward so it doesn't get too boring for you guys to see, because I'm gonna do exactly the same thing here, and it doesn't have a need for you guys to watch all over again in a slow motion. That is the normal motion for sculpting. It is slow. So fast forward for you guys there. I'm gonna bring the eyelid also higher, like I did in this one. Okay, so I got it as similar as I can in class. If I need to work on the symmetry, I probably should do that out of class, because it's something that really, guys, takes time, takes a lot of time to look and give like tiny little differences, and it's really time consuming here, and it's impossible for me to record it all the process. It would be hours and hours of video. I don't even have space in my memory cards and external hard drive to do that. So usually I come for like as better as I can in not a lot of time. I mean, it's still a lot of time, but and then for the little details, I will rather to do it out of camera, because the explanation was given, and after that is just really timing and adding little tiny pieces that it won't even be the same, that you guys have to add. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to observe, look in all different angles, and put as much clay as I need in each part. So for say, you guys probably saw in the video that I added a little bit of a, like it's like this, I get like, ping, put a little tiny little bit of clay on the tip of my tool, and I go there and like the eyelid there, it's not the same as the other side. So with this little bit of tool, because it's just a little bit of difference, I just added, and I'm gonna do that on her nose, on her mouth, and everywhere that I see that it needs changing. Okay, so that's enough for showing the process for you guys of her face. Okay, so we have that part ready now, and it doesn't look like her eyes are deep anymore. They look pretty fair. I think it looks pretty close to her eyes already. I mean, I still have to see details of it, but it looks okay to me. To stop here, just that part is way bigger than the other side. Some things are too much, then I can just do it in here if I notice. But some things I don't even notice what's wrong. I really have to take a look, and a deep look at it to find out, okay? Also the symmetry. I'm not satisfied with the symmetry at all. Mine is pretty off, especially in this angle. There's a lot. Look how it's different. Let me show you guys here in the white paper in the back. Look how here, hold on, let me go to the center of the camera. Look, there's a difference in the forehead. There's a difference on the cheeks here. This one is higher than this. I have to fix that. There's a difference here. There's a difference everywhere. So I'm not happy with the symmetry at all. The lips, everywhere. So I have to work on that still. I will, but not in camera, because these are little details that I have to fix, okay? Okay, guys, so I am gonna stop here, so it gives you guys time to reach me, and we can keep on going next class. So see you all next class. Bye bye.